Hello and welcome to our second lesson on the review of linear equations benchmark. Previous lesson we covered one and two step equations and fractional coefficients. Now we throw some of that into slightly more complicated problems where now we have an additional process with distributing a coefficient out in front and working with variables on both sides. And I say these are slightly difficult because there's a little um, change in how we approach the problem. We might want to simplify first, which follows PEMDAS, and then turn around and undo and go in the reverse order of PEMDAS to solve. For instance, in this problem, we have our x hidden inside the parentheses, and we need to get it out of there so we can work with it. And one of the ways to do it is to go ahead and distribute the 3. We get 16 equals 3x plus 9. And now it's a two-step problem, fairly easy. Subtract 9 from both sides. 7 equals 3x. Divide by 3. X equals 7/3. And we leave it in that form. Number 8, I'd ask you to give it a try and see where you get to, and then we'll pick back up. So hit pause. Okay, hopefully you were able to get an answer that you thought was fairly accurate. We're going to distribute again, leaving 3/2 x plus 3/2 times 6, and it equals 12. And one of the ways I've seen kids work this through fairly easily is just write 6 as 6 over 1. And remember, multiplying fractions, we multiply across the top and across the bottom, giving us 3/2 x plus 18 over 2. Now, as you work on these problems for a while, you might find some shortcuts, but this method works. We'll simplify now. 18 over 2 is 9, and it's a 2 or 3 step problem from here. You subtract the 9 and undo times by 3 and divide by 2. I'm going to undo the multiplication first. I'm going to divide both sides by 3, leaving me with an x still being divided by 2 equals 1. And then undo divided by 2 with multiply. Okay, hopefully that's the answer you got. You might have taken a few steps differently than I did, but if you got the right answer, your method's working fine. Move on to variables on both sides. Again, we have to do some simplifying. But now we have our variable showing up twice, and we really can't solve for the variable without it being combined. So what I'm going to do is leave the x on the left side, get rid of it on the right side. I get negative 1x equals 12. Dividing by negative 1 gives me x equals negative 12. Once you do number 10, see how that goes. Hit pause. Okay, we're going to do this problem, similar fashion. Distribute first, and now try to get the x's on the same side. This time I'm going to subtract the x on the left side to keep it positive. And for some kids, when you don't see a coefficient in front of the x, you assume it's a 0 or something. Really, it's a 1. So you might want to write that in just to keep track of it. Here then I get 1 equals 2x plus 15. It's a two-step problem just like before. Undo plus 15 with minus 15. Undo times 2 with divided by 2. Okay, there's one more problem that is kind of interesting. It doesn't come up on the benchmark, but I want to throw it in there just for those of you looking for a challenge. You might get a problem like this, which doesn't look too hard until we distribute. And now we try to get the x by itself. You could subtract 2x from the left. To do it to the left, do it to the right. But a problem occurs. My x's are gone. And what this is telling me is 0 minus 8, that's not true. So what this is saying is there's no value of x that can make this true. And if we just take a moment to look at this equation right here, there's really nothing that x can be where 2 times x equals 2 times x plus another 8. That plus 8 makes this equation very difficult, in fact impossible to find a value. It has no solution, so we would say no solution. Again, this isn't on your benchmark, but it accidentally came up as a problem I created, and then when I solved it, I thought, well, that's worth throwing out there. So have a look at that, but don't get worried about that for the benchmark. Good luck finishing your review, and then stop in and let me know if you have more questions.